I'm Mike Loftus, and I'm one of the mentors for the ANZA Technology Network, as well as the Entrepreneur in Residence at the Angels Forum. It's team, team, team. The first three and the most important three of the five. The next is, what is your product or what is your IP? And it's really important to remember that the United States recently became the same as everywhere else in the world relative to IP. So it's no longer a first to invent, it's now a first to file. So again, IP is number 4 and really important in the list. So if you show up and you've not even thought about trademarks and patents, you're going to be having a problem. And the fifth is your revenue line. And it's really important to be thinking about your current, which might be 0, or your future revenue, $5 billion. So it's the runway and the pathway, because that way it helps you, the investment team, know how much money you're going to need to get to where you're a $5 billion company. And so it's not going to be done in a single round, it's going to be done in multiple rounds. My background is in product, and so I typically like to assist companies in understanding their MVP. And what's really important about that is, how do you get a company to say, I'm not going to do 3,000 things, I'm going to be doing 30 things, or 3 things that are the most important for a minimum viable product. And just by that action of spending time focusing on what's really important and what's critical for your customer, listening to your customer, what they need, really want, and that focuses you on your MVP, you will actually get a better product faster. One of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to do is know when to give up and when to surrender. And for those of us that are entrepreneurs, we have the adage, never give up, never surrender. But it's really important to look at market and fit of your product and test that from time to time as you're building the product and as you're building out the market, because from time to time you have to pivot. And I hate that, it's an overused word, but it's really important to note that it's really important for entrepreneurs and founder teams to realize that they may have to pivot or change direction or go a different way to successfully get their company to a revenue point of view. One of the things I get a kick out of is reminding entrepreneurs that either aren't old enough to remember or weren't around when it was all going on, or, quite frankly, might have been here for 20 years before that. They don't realize that Google, we all know Google today, and it's a juggernaut, huge, monstrous company, but they started humble beginnings. They were the search bar inside of Yahoo for the first 3 years that they went live. And on the 4th year, they added the Google Insider, powered by Google, on the Yahoo search engine. But they were inside, no one knew it. And it's really important to note that is a good way to look at a startup, being on the inside. That it's okay to not be front and center on the outside of facing customers, because it means you can make mistakes, you can pivot, you can make changes, you can do the things you naturally have to go through when you're building a startup. And oftentimes, the startups don't realize that when you're going through these early stages, if you can partner with somebody and be inside of what they're doing, it becomes really easy to make mistakes and not kill your company because you make them. And I think it's so important to realize the value of that period and how much value there is when you're inside of another technology.